Robert Bassano's phone calls are the best, he says. Is he still on YouTube, Robert Bassano? Because I never see his videos anymore. I didn't
haven't
see
seen him in
anything
a while.
from him in like months.
I think he's gone deep underground. I think he's like some military guy.
Oh, really?
He's got a contract or something.
That wouldn't surprise me.
He's probably
Someone
been.
else mentioned him last week, so I was wondering about him.
They probably heard he was a flat earther and then sent him on the Antarctic duty. Remember that in movies? It was like this thing, like if you are in the military, in the US military, and you screwed up, you know, or you did something really stupid, or you were ashamed, then you would go to the Arctic duty. Oh no, I have to go to the Arctic. Yeah. Remember that? That was a thing.
And right now you are going to go to the Arctic and you will be a flat earth troll for the rest of your life.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, oh, I have to go to the Arctic. Yay! That is awesome. Now I can finally do some research there. Research. Well, hey, Nathan. Welcome, man.
How you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing great. Very sober these days. Yeah. Hey, I also see Persian Scribe in chat. Hello, man. Good to see you. He says, Persian Scribe asks, isn't Robert Bassano running Flat Earth Punk YouTube channel? I have no idea. Could be.
Me neither, I don't know, but I will look it up. Maybe he has a new channel that would explain why I don't see his videos anymore in the feed. And I know for sure that he was in the military in the past. He said that he was not anymore, but I know he was. And also Jeff Stewart, because those two knew each other or know each other.
Hey, Nathan. Thanks for joining, man. Anything you would like to bring up or discuss or ask?
Nah, not really. I haven't spoken to GeoShift for the second time I've done this. So I've joined your chat because you've got a particular person on. I'm really sorry.
You're joining because of me. And I'm going to disconnect soon, man, because I need to eat soon. But I will stay 10 more minutes, no problem.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, more people are welcome to join in. I'd love to have a broad discussion about anything and everything. And yeah, please do join. And let's get this discussion going about everything and nothing. Well, just everything. What do you think? Where do you think the Flat Earth movement is going next? What do you think the authorities are going to do next? It seems to me like there are now more professional globe trolls getting in our way. Like this Tim Osman guy, man. That guy.
That's not a new guy.
No, but like every time I hear his voice, it's just there's something so wrong about him. I don't know. I think he's a sociopath, probably. Anyway, he just annoys the hell out of me, and he's constantly deflecting everything. Everything he says is just one ridiculing smear on Flat Earth. It's just, he rubs me really, really the wrong way.
Yep. And he did so many debates. And
but can you even call that a debate?
Same things. Yeah, indeed.
It's not a debate. It's not a debate when you don't actually respond to the other party.
True.
And he doesn't.
You get the same question over and over again, and every time he gives the same answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you flat earthers assume this and that. No. Just shut up, man. Stop saying that every damn time. It's not true. Stop suggesting what we think. We don't. You don't know. You don't listen. Just go away.
All the proofs he brings are all based on assumptions. I think the governments are pretty much in panic mode, and I think that's why all the propaganda is ramping up so much. Like, everyone thinks we are going to World War III now. It could have to do with Flat Earth. I don't know. I'm not sure, but...
Well, yeah. It will probably add to it.
People keep waking up every day on YouTube and internet. It's everywhere right now. They can't stop it anymore because
Yeah, I think.
Do you remember that when Flat Earth was new 2 years ago, when I don't know if you know the forums, Godlike Productions, or conspiracy forums in general?
Mm-hmm.
Like Godlike Productions is probably the biggest one. You also have Lunatic Outpost, which are two pretty big conspiracy forums, probably the two biggest ones. They avoided Flat Earth for over a year. They used to ban everything, that everyone that mentioned it got banned right away.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's still pretty much the same. They can't block it anymore because it became too big, because people kept doing it. They can't keep banning everyone. So right now they allow it, but still they ban people. If you bring out too much truth about Flat Earth, you get banned from those forums.
And and it's not just Flat Earth, you know.
So I can go back every time they ban me. I just go back. They have to ban the whole provider if they want to avoid my topics.
Yeah. And by the way, this is not just Flat Earth. Just to bring out a little detail, I read again something that apparently, which one was it? The New York Times. There was something really weird about that, because the New York Times had just basically been forced to delete fake member votes. And when they did that, like, they plummeted so incredibly hard. There's like more than half of all their activity was just fake. And they plummeted so hard that they're now in big trouble because of it. So it's not just the conspiracy sites trying to ban Flat Earth. It's everything, every narrative, every level, all these levels trying to prevent people from looking further. They had all these shields, all these fake shields of fake votes, fake peer pressure, and it's breaking down. So it's everywhere. All these layers are breaking down.
It's blasphemy, basically. To say that the Earth is not a globe is blasphemous.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep, in a way, yes. But yeah, that was really remarkable to me. And well, as I said before, like, what do you do against Flat Earth? Well, you can't do anything unless you're going to basically take care of the whole thing all at once, which would mean close down all the channels, delete all the videos, breaking computers, erase all the evidence, everything, and then go pursue those people.
Shut down the internet. That's
yes, but when can you do that without creating a massive backlash and scandal?
Yeah.
You can't, unless it's a giant war and everybody's worrying about that. Because then you expect people to get arrested.
Right now.
Because then you expect the people to get arrested because they're either traitors or whatever, that kind of nonsense. So this is a danger, and I think it might definitely be coinciding with the whole Flat Earth awakening with this approaching World War III. I think it's a desperate move. Like, okay, we have to do it now, we have to do it fast, or we wouldn't even be able to stop it with the World War III. So that might be a thing.
You know, maybe Flat Earth or some other knowledge like Flat Earth was the reason for the other world wars. Because it's pretty much the only thing they can do right now to stop it. The only thing they can do is start bombing everything, disconnect the internet, stop everything, and make sure that everyone is scared. Then it will go away. That's the only thing they can try to do right now to stop it.
Well, they can declare us all Nazis.
But still, it's too big to do.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, but that's, you know what? The thing is, especially the concept of my icon, before this was basically a part of Flat Earth, it was considered as Nazi knowledge. And this is something that I noticed with Flatwater, he's a great Flat Earth guy. He had brilliant videos, still does. But when he first started out putting his more secret knowledge videos, he had like these weird Nazi symbol flashes in there, like he had to do that. And that was very weird. He stopped doing that later on, but it was very remarkable to me. Like, I think that in a way, it's like the declaring all of Flat Earth to be Nazi sympathizing or Holocaust denial or whatever is like, could be a last resort to try to get rid of it. But it's nonsense, because we already are so developed in our knowledge and our insights that we can easily debate our way around this if we are given the room to debate it basically in public. If we are able to basically counter a narrative when it would come out, although I suspect that it would probably start to come out only after everything has been closed down.
Well, talking of countering the narrative, that's something that I've just made a video about this yesterday, actually. The March for Science. I don't know if you guys have got a March for Science near you, but the video log was about March for Science UK, which will take place on April 22nd in London, Bristol, Edinburgh, Cardiff and Manchester. So none of my locations, unfortunately. But if you're watching this and you're in the UK, go along, see if you can get hold of an open mic and tell the world the Earth is flat. Unfortunately, it will require a small degree of deception. In order to get in front of that mic, you'll have to say, you know, isn't it terrible that we're poisoning the planet or something to that effect? So that once you're in front of that open microphone, you can say, yeah, global warming's a complete hoax. The Earth is flat. We've all been lied to. You're all being deceived. Words to that effect.
I heard that. It was a cool idea, man.
Well,
hijacking Earth Day, right?
I'm not going to take credit. That's definitely not my idea. I mean, I've gone along with an idea that Infinite Plane Society's come up with and gone, well, he's doing it and talking about the States, and I may as well talk about it in the UK as well.
Hijacking Earth Day, right?
Precisely.
It's a great idea. Flat Earth Day. We make it Flat Earth Day. We're going to flatten the Earth Day. That's a great idea.
Hey, I'm very sorry, but I really need to go now.
Oh, that's all right. Hey, thanks for being on my Hangout, man.
Yeah, thanks. Good to see
you again.
Take care.
Take care.
See you soon.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later. So.
Yeah, I mean, what you were talking about before about like people have figured out flat Earth, so let's start a world war. I was wondering, like, what would you think about the flood, the Great Flood? Do you think that all the people found out the world was flat, so they thought, we're going to have to flood everyone?
No. That the flood was way before the globe was even invented, probably. I think that the flood has more to do with well, basically what the Bible says about it, and that is that we just started to corrupt so horribly. Like, we would start to mutate things, we start to genetically modify, we create like ravaging giants and all that stuff. And I think that it went so out of control that they basically said, okay, this is so out of hand, we have to destroy everything, because otherwise everything is going to be completely destroyed or something. I think it's rather that than, well, knowledge about flat Earth, because, well, if you just look at all the ancient knowledges and religions, they all knew it was flat. Hey, I can see Flat Earth and other hot potatoes in chat. Hello, Patricia.
Can I just add something on that note? In terms of, I mean, the way you phrased the question was linking the flood and finding out about flat Earth, which I think is a bit of a misnomer, because I don't think specifically finding out about flat Earth is ever going to lead anybody to be in any danger. But what flat Earth represents is the foundation for a religious belief system. And that religious belief system is used to control the people. So what they're trying to do with wars is prevent uprisings, stop revolutions, as opposed to stop people finding out that the Earth is flat. Now, our current religious system is heliocentrism. That's our current religious system. It replaced Christianity, and now we are all in a belief system. It's what we talk about all day long. And that belief system has only got one purpose: to control the people.
Yes. The scientism religion.
Yeah, but just to make my point, it's not that people are going to find out now that the Earth is flat and people are going to say, oh my God, we must stop them finding out the Earth is flat. The greater implications are realizing that we have been deceived, and that deception has led us into a belief system, and that belief system allows us to anthropomorphize our government, worship our leaders as though they are gods, and they're not, they're men.
Yeah, barely men.
Yeah,
really.
Good point, Nathan, good point.
They're very corrupted, soulless men. Indeed.
On the other hand, the Earth is flat, and that's a massive revelation. I mean, I like it. People sort of have got two sides of it where they say, no, you can't say the words flat Earth because it'll put people off because of the pre-programming that's been installed. Whereas I have the opposite thought, which is because people have been pre-programmed to ridicule it, it gets their attention. And it's a fact of life. The Earth is flat. So telling it people in that manner does take them back a little bit. Yeah, they may instinctively brace against it and tell you you're a moron. I may make a video log about this, about my moderation of my chat, or more my moderator's moderation of my chat, which is to say that somebody may come in and be very, very abrupt, abrasive, vitriolic, and get banned immediately. And you think, well, we've got to kind of take into account that some of these people are just going through the motions of their programming. And eventually that same person may very well realize the truth of their reality, the truth that the earth is in fact flat. And when they come to that realization, they're not going to apologize to the people they've trolled, you know, but they're just like you and I. Maybe not so much me. I was very welcoming of the idea of flat earth. It felt like a relief, if anything else, you know, but I immediately went, wow, that makes perfect sense, as opposed to that's ridiculous, you're a moron, to the person giving me the information.
I always loved the idea, even if it was fiction to me, then I still found it very fascinating, because it's just this giant world, this giant concept. It's a design concept basically, and that is what I love. I love designing and all that stuff, and that is what fascinated me about it all along. Every time I came across it, it's always like, no, I want to know the truth. No, I was like, wow, what is this? How does this work? I want to know. I want to know how did they make this? How did they come to these conclusions? That's what I loved about it the most.
It reminded me of something, which is Mark Sargent's first flat earth clue, number 1, The Empty Theatre, where he talks about the fact that there's no movies made specifically about man's greatest achievement. You know, there was this CBS special, but that's basically it. You know, the other one, the big one, Apollo 13, wasn't about the landing. And that was the point. But if you spin that on its head, like you say, you have this amazing world, the realm of flat earth. Why is there no movies made about this? You know, it's a completely different concept. It's if nothing else, like you say, it's a fantasy that could very much be expanded upon and used to, you know, give people entertainment, to bolster their imagination. I don't see it as fiction. I see it as fact.
I have an answer to that, actually. And yeah, the thing is, I think a part of the reason why there are no flat earth movies and is because, well, basically because of the Jewish religion. The original one, the Orthodox one, like not like Jewish people, but the inner circle ones, they actually forbid knowledge of flat earth to be spread. It's even punishable by death. So that's the crazy part about it.
No, that's news to me. You'll have to expand on that a bit.
Nah, barely. Let's not just put it. The thing is, they don't want it to spread, and that's why they're religiously not allowed to talk about it. So since we all know that Hollywood is very much controlled by Jews, and I don't mind, they make really great Star Wars movies, so I love that. I don't mind, but because they are religiously prohibited to discuss it, that's why there's no movies about it, because those people that would do that, they would get severely punished by their kin, by their families. They would be rejected from the community for that. And I think that is the reason why that happened. And maybe, well, let's just say maybe in World War II or before that, we know that movies and such, they were already starting to get into the world. Like Hollywood started before that, I think in the 20s. And it could be that Germany already started to experiment with making flat earth more mainstream. And that could have probably triggered like a massive backlash that eventually got them as a boogeyman that they are now. So, because I definitely believe that the Nazis knew the earth was flat, as they have been using it, like going to the South Pole and everything. They probably accepted it as truth. They maybe even wanted to reveal it to the world. And well, the Jewish controllers, I'm not an anti-Semite, by the way, but yeah, they are definitely in the upper echelons. They just didn't stand for it. They said, no, if we allow them to do this, we're going to lose control and we're going to lose everything we got. So we just have to destroy them utterly. and make sure it never happens again. I think that's part of the reason, and much more than just, oh my God, they exterminated Jews. Yeah, which probably did happen up to a certain degree, although I personally believe that it's probably also the Jews themselves that did that to their own people, one branch to another branch. But Flat Earth is probably involved in the whole thing. That's what I think about it. Although it is speculative, by the way. But yeah, what is it?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I just got a question. Like, Issa was talking the other day, and he was saying, like, finding out about Flat Earth for the first time can be a bit scary for some people. Mm-hmm. Maybe when you introduce a dome or something like that. I was just wondering what you guys would like. How would you sort of approach someone without scaring them off, basically?
Okay, yeah. That's good that you started about this. And see, this is why I need people in my Hangouts and not just me talking, because otherwise there's this silence. But anyway, yeah, Flat Earth is great as a party crash. So, you know, this group of people, and they think, oh, we're so smart, we're so great. It's really fun to just run in there and say, the Earth is flat, blah, blah, blah. And then people just, you blow it up, basically. But if you are like at work, you don't want to do that because it's going to get you fired. So that's why I would recommend, if you want to bring it to friends, family, or colleagues, and don't start out calling it Flat Earth, say, you know what? I am into alternative cosmogony. Because when you do that, you're speaking the truth, and it sounds very smart. And they don't get triggered by it. So that's my tip. When you want to subtly bring the Flat Earth subject above to people's attention, then don't call it Flat Earth to start out with, but just call it alternative cosmogony. And then see how they respond, if they even realize what that means and everything. Because it sounds smart, it is smart, and that works. Like when you start out, before they realize that you're really talking about Flat Earth, if you had basically shown them that you're smart, that will counter, in a way, the conditioned response they have to Flat Earth and the ridicule. Because then they will notice, like, wow, you're really smart. How could you be that stupid? Basically, that will probably be their response. But as it sinks in, they will more quickly figure out, like, hey, there's something not right here. Something's weird is going on. See? What do you think, Nathan?
I think Shroom is spamming your chat room.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, when you introduce, if you start to introduce the idea of confinement, or there's something watching us, or someone watching us, do you think that sort of like puts the fear into people a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
And then, well, then you sort of come to the realization that maybe it's not exactly like that. Maybe it's not like what you think it is. And then you get a little bit more happier about it, kind of.
You've struck on a point that I've been sort of working my way towards, but I don't know, you've got there, so I might as well just say it. So I've been asking people if they believe there's a creator and why, and I've got lots of different answers. And you've struck my point perfectly, which is that if you believe there's a creator, it doesn't matter if you see it as an entity or an anthropomorphized man. It doesn't matter. If you see that there is a creator of any description, then there's Big Brother watching you. You essentially have this fear that actions you take part in will be judged by the man upstairs. And that's, you know, a way of boiling it down that's not, you know, there's going to be so many people that say, I don't see God that way. And I'm encompassing all of them, you know, creator or all descriptions.
I'd like to counter that with a different perspective. And that is, if there is a creator, then we come from a purpose, because nothing is created without purpose. While the atheist scientism doctrine says, no, there is no purpose. It's all by chance. There's no reason. We are here to find out the reason for ourselves. But if there was originally a creator, then he created it with a purpose. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Nothing is created without a purpose.
Yeah, but that's just not true, is it?
What do you mean?
Well, there's plenty of folly.
How do you mean? You always create something with a purpose. It might be a trivial purpose or a big purpose, but it's never just nothing. There's never.
That's what folly means.
No, but even folly is not nothing. It's then you do it to prove a point of some kind or whatever. It's nothing is done without purpose.
Unless it's like something.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
Okay, fine. Well, it's just how I see it. Like, in my opinion, nothing really is created without some kind of reason for it to do that. Maybe he was bored. You know, that's still a purpose.
It's us humans requiring a reason for things. You know, we don't have the answer, so we make up the cause, we make up the effect, and the reasons why. And there's no need.
Yeah, it's like, who put broccoli here, or celery? who needs that?
Oh, I love broccoli.
It's very healthy, you know.
Yeah, I was just thinking of things in nature, like maybe flies or wasps, or who puts that there? Who needs that?
Oh, well, birds do. Birds really need the insects, and small animals. There's entire groups of creatures that survive purely off one type of insect.
Yeah, I don't dispute that.
Like bats, for example, they live off mosquitoes.
There's things that do exist that I know you could justify. Wasps, it's a bad example, but there's going to be something. I can't think of one off the top of my head either. It's sod's law, but there will be things out there without purpose that you just go, what's the point in that?
I don't agree. I just think that if we don't understand the purpose, it's because we haven't found it out yet. Like, as science goes on, but let's think about like nature sciences. So many things, like even in the 80s, we discovered things and we didn't know, like, hey, why does this creature have this organ? But you find out. And I think that everything has a purpose in that sense. But you don't always see the purpose right away. You have to find out, you have to experiment, you have to see what's happening with it, and then you find out the purpose.
Yeah, no, I won't disagree with that. It's a world of wonder since finding out the Earth is flat, I'm not going to lie.
Yes, it is, absolutely. The world is wondrous, and it's amazing, and wow, just think of it, man. Wow, if the Earth is flat and all that, and there are like giant bones and no dinosaurs, man, giants have walked the Earth, can you imagine? And there's still remnants of this. The ancient depictions of like the Babylonian kings. They were big, and other giants. And just think about, like, oh, it's such a mystery. How could they have built all these giant things and these giant stones and all the technology? We can't even lift them with our cranes. But yeah, a mile-high giant could probably lift it pretty easily. So it explains so many things architecturally. Like, ancient architecture is much easier explained with giants assisting. Basically,
some of those stones though are like thousands and thousands of tons heavy.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it's a mile-high giant. Can you imagine how much they weigh?
Well, yeah, I suppose if they're that tall. I was just thinking it's still going to be really heavy to.
Yeah, of course.
Whips, man, massive whips.
Whips.
Yeah. Probably. Well, they said slaves built it at first, didn't they, or something?
Yeah, right. That would work, really. No, I don't buy that for a second. Like, slaves built that. That's totally, like, they may have like done some repair jobs in the later ages, like after the flood or anything.
Slave repairs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, repair doesn't require that much. So you can basically stick on a bunch of gravel or cement. But like the giant stone blocks, they can't do that. No, it's bullshit.
So just for the sake of argument then, which is more likely that, let's say, I won't even name one because I'll get a load of crap in your comments and you don't need it. So a alleged 2,500–3,000-year-old documented artifact, yeah, that you say couldn't feasibly be built by a person at that age, is it more reasonable to assume that giants built it than to assume that our history has been fudged and it was just built by men potentially more recently when there was technology available that could do it?
That is...
I'm going to go with giants.
Yes, the thing is, but but the thing with giants, no, I think it is giants because there are just signs of this. There are giant bones, and if they are there, it's ludicrous to think that they wouldn't have contributed, that they would even be kept alive if there wasn't a good reason for them to do that, because they would eat a lot more. It's even like in the Bible texts, you hear like these giants, they were ferocious, they ate everything. So there must have been a good reason for them, at least at first, to just be kept, probably as builders or whatever, until they went mad and started just eating everyone.
That's horrendous.
But it is horrendous. It is.
I'll give you a different scenario then. So we fast forward 2,500 years, and man almost dies out. All of the history is lost. You know, it's whittled down to very few people. Then society builds itself back up, and like I say, 2,500 years elapse, and they come across. They find, after some of the waters move, this giant ship, enormous ship, you know, carrier, one of our freight carriers, and they assess it and go, there's no feasible way that the people from our history could have ever made this.
No reason really to do it.
But if they haven't got the history of how a tanker came into existence, they could draw the non sequitur conclusion that you have drawn, that giants built that tanker.
No, not necessarily. No, but there's other elements that also point at it being giants, like the openings. Like if they find a tanker now, they would like also find compartments. They would find that the building and the rooms and the doorways would be designed for a certain height. In this sense, there's also many buildings around the world, and like the channel New Earth talks about it. They're like the elf castles, dwarf castles, and they are, all those homes and all those subterranean things, they are built for small people. So I'm not saying they're all giants. I'm saying, look, there are these things out there that are just not made for humans, because everything is illogically large. It's not logical to make it that large just for fun.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So the example you're giving are those staircases that are going up that have got giant steps and normal steps for normal men. And it appears to anybody who was looking at it that it's set up so the giants can go up those steps. Or would it be reasonable to assume that an architect who has been told that there are giants, and instructed to build it so that the giants can come back, if that's a linchpin argument in your deception over the people that you are a god like these giants that obviously exist, look at these stairs that we've got for them, wouldn't you say that's more likely than the giants actually existing?
Nope. Where would they get that? No.
I
think it's probably from a later age. What I think is there were first giants, then the flood came, most of the giants were destroyed, but not all of them.
How many giants would you say that there was, like back in the giant times? Do you reckon there'd be like...
Hundreds of thousands. There's a mention of a giant army.
That's going to be a lot of...
There's still like these helmets being found, these giant helmets. It's incredible. Like, just watch New Earth's channel. Like, there's so much footage of this.
My wife says, or I'll phrase it as a question, she says, like in Harry Potter.
I don't care how she says it. I'm just seeing those pictures. That's good enough for me.
But we're fighting against NASA, where we say these pictures are bullshit. So why is it that in this instance you're prepared to take the account of history at face value, whereas with NASA you're not?
Well, with NASA we can deduce how it has been tricked. You can see it is CGI. You can prove it. With these photographs, it's just a natural environment. You see everything around it, and there are people that go there and confirm this and say, yeah, that's there.
Like with the moon landings, they go there and they confirm it. Like
no, not with the moon landings, because you can't just say, you know what, I'd love to go on a vacation to the moon. Yeah, no, you can't do that. But you can go to vacation to these locations.
If you were trying to convince somebody giants exist, you'd need something physical to show them, to prove it to them, like a giant staircase or something.
No, you need giant bones, basically. That's the best method. But yeah, they get removed. So, but they do get found every now and then the Freemasons come in and they clean them out again, throw them all in the sea.
My point is, if we're addressing on one side of the fence that we have an elite control system that poisons the narrative and deceives us, why would you take anything from the elite, the people who write the history books, the people who write the Bible, the people who write our documents, and we know that their systems are designed to control us going back through history? Why would you take any of it as read? I don't get it.
Well, I can explain this perfectly, and that is these books that talk about the giants, they're left out. But originally they were not left out. You know why? Because they were not open to the public. It was a mystery religion. All the knowledge was kept inside these Roman closed chapels and were only for the priesthood. If people outside would find out, they would get killed.
What, like we discussed earlier, but with Freemasons and Flat Earth?
Yeah.
Right, so you can see the parallel.
Yeah.
Right, but the one side of it with the Freemasons and Flat Earth and hiding that truth from us, you can say, yeah, that's all nonsense, they've lied to us. But on the other side of the fence, you're happy to say, well, going back through history, they've got proof and documentation. And get this, they removed some of it, so it must be true.
No, but it's not like it must be true because they removed it, but it is very suspicious that they did and that they don't even like to talk about it. It's not brought into the public attention.
Like they lost the tapes for the telemetry for getting to the moon. That seems suspicious, right?
Yeah. Indeed.
But what I'm saying is, it's like when people say the Van Allen belt, and I go, well, that's NASA. You know, why would you use this piece of information to affirm your belief in a dome when you're saying NASA are liars? Well, wouldn't you assume automatically that everything they say is then lies? They've lost all credibility. So why would anything to do with the Van Allen belt be anything other than propagandized nonsense? But it seems when it confirms your belief, not you, I'm just talking about people in general on a different topic, so it's not directed at you because I don't want to be too combative, you're the host. But you know, when something affirms their belief, yeah man, I'm all for that. Operation Fishbowl, well, they were shooting rockets at the sky. Well, hold on, that's just more government propagandized nonsense as far as I'm concerned. You've got to chuck the whole lot out.
Now, I've been thinking about that, by the way, the whole Operation Fishbowl. That's funny because who actually knows that they did really all shoot them up at the sky? Maybe they just shot them up beyond the South Pole and it just blew up all the Nazi bases that were beyond the South Pole. Ever thought about that?
Right, yeah, that's it. My point is they've lost all credibility for me. So,
yeah, in a way, yes. But I think that the whole concept of giants and the Book of the Giants, it's not theirs. They did not write this. It was created a very long time ago. This is just known. It's very old and it's being kept out. It's not being rewritten. They just keep it out. So they did not have a direct hand in this. See? It's different. It's not recent.
So who do you think back then were the people who could write and document things?
Well, people that were in power at those times, and yeah, they were in the knowledge, but they might have had different priorities. Like these counter empires constantly rise. They constantly go against the entire world. This happens all the time, I believe.
And what do people in power want?
Retain their power.
Right, more power.
Yeah, and others don't want that. Like the people that are not in power, they want to break those people in power, and they will use the truth to do that because it works, just like we are doing right now.
But we also talk about a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, but...
So, I mean, the same thing applies. I mean, my current drum that I'm banging is about people who will, you know, talk about truth and facts and then go, that guy's a paid agent. You go, what? And my argument is that destroys credibility in the same way that somebody who says, those lights in the sky, we can land on those. And then that person says, and also we've got this Van Allen belt we can't get through. I just go, yeah, I don't believe anything you say.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah, I get your point. I'm wondering where this is going because I don't.
No, it's not going anywhere. It's just a discussion point about giants where I hear your arguments for it and go, well, it's documented, it is written. It's like, so what?
I suppose there's always people that will say, oh, we're muddying the waters by talking off topic and stuff, but it's just different subjects that just crop up really in there.
Well,
I don't know.
I think we're probably going to see a few giants within our lifetimes even. It's just...
I know, like, well, we're getting taller and taller as a human race, aren't we? Like, if you, like, say you went back, say, 50 years or something, were people smaller, generally, height-wise? So, like, your great...
It also has to do with just the overall nutrition. Like, we have a height potential depending on the types of nutrition and hormonal things. That doesn't mean that we always keep on growing. That's not necessary. Like if another generation gets into a famine, then that next generation will be smaller again. So that just goes up and down. But that I'm not saying that is the cause of the giantism. I think giantism is basically a genetic defect, maybe even purposefully created, so that giants over the generations, they would grow bigger and bigger. And this is something that Rob Skibo works on. And I'm going with that, absolutely. I think that is very logical. Yeah. And I have any alternative that makes any kinds of sense to me. Yeah. Except, like, there was nothing, and before that time, there was just nothing. That's the only alternative I can think of. That it's all fiction, everything. There's nothing before 500 years ago. That's also an explanation. Everything is made up. Everything. But I think still, as an alternative long-term old history, I think that giants are not that crazy. I think it's possible. And well, yeah, okay, I'm gonna bring in some very unscientific proof, and that is I had some confirmation, okay, for my vision. So even things that I saw moving giants, I saw moving, talking giants, talking to other people. So yes, it's not proof, but to me it is. And that, yeah, I guess that's all. That's all I can really say about it. And yeah, well, you have of course all the statues and the hieroglyphs and the stories about ancient Sumeria and the giant rulers there. Like, why would they be big and not just symbolically big, like say a Mao Zedong statue or the North Korea guy statue? Because the thing is, that's always like, oh, a big statue and then other stuff somewhere else that's smaller, just to emphasize that it's big. But the images that we still find of like the ancient kings, you could see them interacting with smaller humans. And that doesn't make sense unless they are literally bigger. It's very, very, yeah, it's like very surreal otherwise. Just, I don't know. I think it was literal. It's not symbolic. And also descriptions, even in language descriptions, they just say he's big. He's this big, specific heights.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, I do believe they probably could have been giants and stuff, but I don't know about how many or if they actually built the pyramids or not. But
no, but I'm just saying, like, if they were giants, then they would be crazy not to use them for giant buildings and lifting huge stones in the lack of having giant mechanical combustion engine driven cranes, because you have giants and you just need to feed them a lot of food and then they can lift up really big things really easily. So it is an explanation that at least makes some kind of sense in a construction way. And it is the only thing that we can explain that doesn't involve like, ooh, science fiction and weird super alien technology that could do it, or whatever, some ethereal technology. It's just a very physical explanation for a very physical result.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you've got the people that say that levitating rocks and stuff. Have you seen that Coral Castle in Florida?
Well, yeah, you have the horn thing, like a resonance lifting. That is very fascinating. I've never seen it happen, but I would love to look into that. Resonance technology is fascinating.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it, but yeah, would such techniques be sufficient to lift millions of pounds heavy rocks, really? And how would you then guide that? Like, there would be thousands of people with these horns pressed against this huge rock. Would that really be efficient? Wouldn't that be dangerous? I don't know. Like for smaller rocks, I can imagine that would work, but who knows? Maybe the giants had their own technology like this, but huge. Like they had this huge resonance horns, and they did this to lift it. Maybe it was that. Who knows?
Yeah, this guy that I think it's Forrester. He goes out and investigates Egypt and stuff, and he was saying that everything's precise. It's all like really millimeter, like precise. He was kind of leaning towards that maybe they used molds, giant molds, and poured things into molds and then moved it.
Well, there's also this idea that this resonance technology could probably use to melt rock to make it into putty and then under other frequencies solidify it again. So you could shape it like a clay. This would explain some of the weird melting press marks that are found in some rocks over the world. New Earth also talks about it. It seems like they were improvised staircase. They just melted in there and just went up there. It seems so bizarre. It could be a technology like that. Or there's also other things that could have happened. Like, for example, the Pyramid Codes talks about sonic cutting. Like using specific sonic chambers or shapes to direct sound in such a way that it can cut through rock in absolute precision. So maybe that is involved in this precision work.
Yeah, I love how like Flat Earth just like opens your eyes up to like question everything, like because we've been lied to. We go back in history and start looking at other things like the pyramids and all kinds of things, really. So just makes you want to like research again and just have a quick look again, just to make sure things are just question everything, really, basically. Because the biggest lie of them all is that we've been convinced it's a globe. So it just makes us want to go back and check everything else.
Indeed. Yeah, then there's so much. I'm still curious, like the concept of chimeras. You know why? Because there are depictions of this, but there's been found, well, giant bones, I guess, and even strange teeths. Like the lion teeth giant is a thing. I've heard talking about it, but
yeah,
chimeras, like those, like really big chimeras, like one part this, one part that. I've never seen any trace of that. Like, was that actually real, or is that something that people made up afterwards?
The thing is, say Godzilla was real, yeah. So you've got Godzilla, and it meets a woman Godzilla, and they have baby Godzillas, and then they have baby Godzillas, and more and more come, and it's just unsustainable. Like the ocean would be full of Godzillas. They wouldn't be able to get enough food, and I don't know, it just wouldn't be sustainable. The population wouldn't be sustainable.
It would be a radioactive wasteland. Remember, Godzilla has radioactive breath. Remember? Everything would get fried.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if you had like thousands and thousands of giants, that's going to take up a lot of land. That's going to...
Yeah, but that's what they said. That's what's told. Like the giants, they would multiply uncontrolled and they would start eating everything. The normal food would run out and they would just start eating their own servants. And then when they ran out of servants, they would start to attack each other and then eat each other. That's the freaky thing about it. And this is what is said has triggered the flood. It just went so overboard. Well, they say that God basically opened the floodgates, but who knows who actually did it or what caused that. But there is this story told that basically the offspring of the Nephilim, they became giants, they grew bigger and bigger, they started ruling over everyone, and then they started eating everything and warring and just everything, destroying everything, like destroying life, destroying all plant life, eating entire forests, everything away until there was just desert left. That kind of stuff. So yeah, it is unsustainable. That's the thing about it. It never was. It's part of the story of the giants that it was unsustainable and it was growing out of control and led to a world cataclysm of the flood.
You've got Gem Panda in your chat, and I'm just reading what he says. He says, I agree entirely with Arwin. It seems like there's lots of evidence for giants.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go, Arwin. Gem Panda's on board.
Cool. Yeah, well, yeah, giants. Like I said, I have been confronted with the concept of giants, like at a very early age even. My mother was a believer. There are legends of giants even in the Netherlands. And I have been confronted through Jewish mystics about the giants and all kinds of places where I just ran into giants and the idea of giants, and I started to really embrace it. And then eventually when I at school started to talk about it, and we had this mythology class. I tried to find this book again because we had to basically draw pictures of mythology. And I made this picture where there was like the Roman army and they were fighting against a Celtic barbarian army. And the Celtic barbarians, they were all 2.5 times bigger. And they were like, giants? Really? Are you sure? I said, yeah, absolutely. They were giants. And after that, that's the point when the Jesuits basically came after me and they like took me apart. Like, yeah, you know what? Your Earth is a globe, right? And I said, well, I don't know. And they really started to like push me around and try to manipulate me, try to shock me into stop it talking about that. Don't talk about it in school. So
that'd be a good hangout name, Jesuits and Giants. Maybe not.
Then what about Bigfoot?
Oh, I said about Bigfoot. I said it in the hangout yesterday, and it is Bigfoot is probably an urban legend to make the concept of giant look stupid in popular culture. It's probably specifically designed for that.
Let me just get it. Please say it. Please say Bigfoot is a psyop.
Yes. Probably. There might be a Bigfoot, but the thing is that the entire thing that surrounded it, the stories and the shows, are specifically done to ridicule the concept of giants. So there might even be a Bigfoot, but it doesn't matter. What matters is how it's dealt with, how the media deals with it. And it's in a ridiculing way. It's emphasizing the ridicule about a giant humanoid. So I say yes. The media operations surrounding Bigfoot are a psyop. That doesn't mean that Bigfoot doesn't exist. It just means that it's used as a psyop.
Yeah, my wife thinks that giants have been put in place to hide the existence of Bigfoot.
Okay, that's fine.
The reverse.
That's okay. Your wife can believe that.
She's piping right up now. She says, why is that funny? It's exactly the same thing he said, but just the opposite.
Yeah, you know what? That's what Globies tell us too.
She's a globehead. That's pretty typical behaviour then. Classic.
Sorry, I missed that last part.
I said, well, she is a globehead.
Oh, really? Oh, that explains, I guess. a base technique all globes use in their psychology is like, no, you. They just take whatever you say and then reflect it 180 back at you, and then they think they won. So that explains. I see you're talking to your wife now. Muted.
I says, why don't you just come on and say this? And she's like, no, I'm making dinner. Wants to pipe up from the sidelines.
Dinner would be good. It's like 9. It's 7:15 here, so should probably get some dinner sometime soon. How long has this hangout been going? Oh, 2 hours already. Oh, yeah.
8 hours. We can go for 8.
What?
No, these people that do 8 hours, I don't know how they do it. Like,
oh yeah, the Red hangout, man. That was crazy. You like yesterday, we went up until 3 at night, and it was amazing. It was great discussions. I loved it. But it went until 3 o'clock at night. It was 7 hours straight. I got in there after like an hour or 2 maybe, and then just went on until 3 o'clock, and then got up this morning. It was like, man, I feel unfulfilled. I'm bored. Let's check out. Hey, Dread's doing another hangout. And then that went on for hours and hours again. So I immediately continued. Barely had a full night's sleep.
just in case anybody watches this on the re-upload. So that's UYOU, Bean Exposed channel, and Big Dread, who's awesome. I love Big Dread.
Yes. Yeah, I recently just discovered him, but I really like what he does.
There's always like a lot of arguments and shouting going on, like people trying to speak and stuff, but it's all good. He controls it pretty well.
Yeah, he tends to have his mic that little bit louder because he's got 2 hangouts running, essentially, one for the guests so they can't snipe the show, and then one that he actually runs the show from, and he puts the second hangout into the corner. And then that makes them slightly quieter. So it means that when he says, whoa, I'm not interrupting you here, when somebody's interrupting another panel member, he gets his message across because he's like this loud, booming voice. Because I've been on his show once, and, suddenly Big Dread's telling you off and you know about it.
Mm-hmm. Fair play.
Yeah, I like it's a good concept. I was very impressed. I could almost say like, hey, I want that too,
Can you turn up?
I like the big hangouts. I loved it. Sorry?
I was just gonna say, like, if you wanted an extra loud voice, you could like take our volume down maybe, and then you can like put your volume up.
No, I'll just be more loud. I can be very loud too,
Okay.
Yeah, who else impressed me recently? Guy who absolutely hates me, but that's besides the point. But a guy called Ali B was debating a number of, let's call them prominent globe heads, and he really did well. I was super impressed. But yeah, I can't remember exactly which show it was. But yeah, I tuned in live, and I was like, wow, this guy is awesome. He really knows his stuff, and he's got really good debating structure. Very honest in terms of how he was approaching the questions. And I was like, because my only experience with him is him going around telling everyone I'm a snake, which is, some people's bag. But so to see somebody who I see as a hater just doing a really cracking job debating with Globeheads, I was like, much respect. I even dropped him a message. I was like, I know you hate me, but well done, mate, well done. So yeah, Ali B, he was really good. I looked for his channel off the back of that and I couldn't find anything. So I think he's actually on Del's show, Beyond the Imaginary Curve. So the reason I'm saying these channel names is so that hopefully going forward, Arwin, when you do these shows, you'll mention it, and I'm not trying to knock you by saying this. It's just I'm promoting the idea, like Helio Skeptic said, to actually name the channels in full and say, go and subscribe to Beyond the Imaginary Curve, go and subscribe to You Being Exposed, because these are great channels, and you want to sort of promote them, build them up, and let the people who are watching this actually know the full names of these channels so they can just go. Plus it saves you putting the link in. They can just type it then.
Yeah, no, I agree. The thing is that I tend to, during these hangouts, I get so absorbed by the conversation that I just completely forget. I'm not a very commercial guy, so advertisement doesn't come natural to me. So that's why I often forget. I even forget, hey, subscribe to my channel. I never say that. So but I should, yeah, subscribe to my channel. And well, a lot of people have joined, by the way. So it basically jumped in 3 days from 138 to now 164. So that's nice.
Excellent. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I'll be honest, that show, I mirrored the one you did the other week, and immediately it just got a lot of viewership, and I was like, this is unusual. And then you contacted me and said that yours had done exactly the same. So I was like, well, it's not just a good thumbnail, because yours is doing the exact same thing. It's gaining you more views. I think it's just because it was a good conversation. Helio Skeptic was a really good guest.
He was. Definitely.
Yeah, lots of good views. I enjoyed that show. Hence, I mirrored it.
Yeah, me too. And I think that we probably make good conversation partners here in Hangouts. We both give each other the room to talk. We make effort to be understood, to speak intelligently. I think it just has this chemistry maybe that people like. Maybe that's why.
Maybe, like I say, good couple of hours of conversation, and I can see from the metrics people are actually watching it. They go, oh, okay, great, wonderful. Can't argue with that.
Or 38 people watching right now, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So like if I compare that to like 3 months ago, and it's like, oh wow, there's actually 6 people watching. Wow. And I was like, oh.
I remember my very, very first hangout my wife and I did together, and she'd got it all set up, and just essentially, like most people, just pressed the start go button and then stuck it in front of me, and we just figured out how Hangouts worked on her channel. And you've got 2 or 3 people watching, and you're kind of aware that there's people watching you. Exactly, they're actually watching you right now, and every word you say. Moreover, you can't unsay stuff. So if you misspeak, then that's dedicated to air permanently. If you nip off, this is probably the only piece of advice I'd give you and every other YouTuber. If you need the loo, don't tell your audience that you're going to just subtly tell the panel in the side chat, or turn your camera and mic off and just go. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, indeed. I was going to say something, I forgot. Damn it.
Yeah, Vincent's always saying, I go coffee now. Well, maybe that's what he's doing. He's going to the toilet or something.
I was for ages. So I'd see people saying in the chat, not Vincent, saying, I go coffee now, I go bed now. I'm like, what are these people on about? Then one day I asked, and they're like, oh, Vincent says that. I'm like, does he? They're like, yeah. And then, of course, you start to notice, and you go, oh, right, okay. But yeah, he does.
Yeah, he says 1 moment, please, as well. Or, moment, please.
Indeed. So
many characters.
41 watching. Ooh. Hey, anybody else would like to join in, talk about something, anything, or you have a question, maybe question about me or Nathan or Dan or the things that we've talked about? Yeah, I love answering questions. So unless it's a trick question and you're just a Globie trying to make us look stupid, but I'd love to answer questions. Anyone wants to join in? Please do so. Oh, Jam Panda says he's at work and he's not wasting his time. Right. So
this is your opportunity to shout out at the people in the chat. So when there's
You're right. Yeah. Let me shout out to who can I see in chat here?
Jed Skeptic.
Yeah. Anthony Riley, Ute Hoob, Joy 4118, and Mark Taylor, hello. I saw Patricia in there earlier. She said hi, I think. See Dark Knight Ape Delune. What a crazy name. Hello. Dave Poole, hello. Zern Music, how you doing, man? Who else is in there?
Hey, Zern. That was the guy that left because of Sasquatch problem.
Oh, sorry about that. It's just I see Joy4118 here. Hello. And who else is in there? Oh yeah, Shrumanati, but he's a bit of a spammer, so I timed him out earlier. He's not doing that now.
Normally he just wants a bit of attention. If you give him a shout out, he'll be really grateful and probably behave.
Well, hello, Shrumanati.
Hi, Joy. You haven't got your chat room. I'd normally have it like broadcast so people can see it, but you know, so you have this thrown out random names. Hello.
Yep. I'm looking here, like this is like earlier scrolling up in the comments, like somebody called Eric Catherine, and he says, Arwin, hard-headed. Am I really that hard-headed? Or no, was that during the whole Giants thing?
I don't think so. I think you're very amiable. I just think some people, when you've got an opinion and you're firm in it, people see you as hard-headed, but I don't think that's the case. I just think it's having an opinion.
I guess. It's just, I like Giants. I like the idea of Giants. It's also a bit scary. And it's miraculous, and I don't know. It's like a secret wish. It would be so cool if I could like see a real life giant, like not just from my visions, but in real life. Just walk up to one and just see like, whoa, you are big.
Giant women. 50-foot women.
I don't know.
There's that movie, wasn't there? Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
Oh yeah, that's old movies.
I don't know. Yeah.
Recently, there's Monsters vs. Aliens. Where
turned
into a giant woman.
Oh, but those weren't giants, not really. They were just. Oh wait.
What about
Monsters vs. Aliens? You said it.
Yeah, Monsters vs. Aliens.
I haven't seen that one. I thought you said Cowboys versus Aliens, but that's another movie. I haven't seen that one really, but
it's good.
Okay, okay, I'll check it out sometime. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna duck out and leave you to it, Arwin, because you can probably hear in the background lots of screaming. So
yeah, Eleanor wants some attention.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being there, man. It's been great having you on again, and you're always welcome to join my hangouts. So it's always a great conversation with you, and I like the way you really you don't give up your ideas, your train of thought so easily. So it's nice to duke it out in that sometimes. It's good.
Yeah, I'm stubborn.
Yeah, so am I.
Nice to see you, Dan.
Yeah, nice, Nathan. Take it easy, man.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later, man.